Hey everyone, Justin Alhays here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us on all our episodes, especially this very special episode. Now that we are over 300 total episodes, on our way to 400. You've heard the spiel before. We're reaching 100 countries, territories, as well as 1,000 cities, not only here in the United States, where we reside, but across the world, Antarctica, Greenland, you name it, we're reaching it, and it's really incredible. I'm going to do very little talking on this particular show for a very good reason, and you're going to see and hear exactly why. And first things we're going to do is there's an intro video that I want to play for our viewers and our listeners to get us teed up. And then David is going to help guide us through the conversations. And we're thankful and humbled to use our platform again to help people. We have the big goal of wanting to help 3 billion people over the course of our lifetime and beyond. And veterans is a very demographic. I have not served. My dad and my grandparents have, and you're gonna see how important our veterans are in this episode. So, if you're watching at home, you're gonna see me go to the share the screen, and then we are going to get started. We're gonna share the sound because that's super important. Okay, so let's make this like that. And
All right, so I heard
Hey,
we're
look at
gonna
those
make a
guys,
movie.
huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a movie.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Nathan.
And I'm Todd.
We're the Tetreault brothers. We're both veterans. We both served our country, and we're excited about telling a story about another veteran who happens to be a Medal of Honor recipient from the Vietnam War. Sammy Lee Davis is known as the real Forrest Gump, and he is also one of our friends, and we are telling the story to bring light to the Vietnam War.
And so, even though he did not know his brother in arms, he risked his life to save him and other brothers. So we want to show that there's still love out there, and we want to make a film with love, hope, and redemption, because this world needs more love, especially at this time right now.
We've got two veterans, two brothers who are filmmakers,
Actors, stuntmen, and now producers.
telling a story about another veteran, and it's going to be great, and we need your support. So we're coming to you today to ask you to financially support us by giving us your donations and helping us to get this project funded so we can make it happen. So like it, comment on it, help us get the word out. Thank you.
Thank you.
excellent. So we're gonna head back to our main screen. All right, David. So if you could help us get our conversation going with the brothers. We're grateful again for everybody being here, making the working their schedules. And for those at home, you're going to see me share a screen with the Instagram, the website, and all that information, so you can make sure you can get all that down as we're going through this episode. So David, thank you again for joining us and for all you do for survivors. And thank you for making this a reality. You can have the floor.
Thank you. Today we're in for some amazing guests. I followed this for a very long time, and their story is inspirational, and it's a story of hope. And I am touched by their story, by what they've accomplished. I'm gonna let Todd and Nathan take over, I want to hear for the audience how it all started for you. What got you to do this? I'd like to hear it from you guys.
All right. So hi, I'm Nathan. I'm one of the filmmakers here with my brother Todd. What started us off? Wow. I would say we've always had a hunger and a desire to tell story, and it wasn't until we realized, hey, we need to start making stories that we really want to see, and that will highlight positive things, and also real life events. So basically, um, long story short, we got invited to a Veterans Day event, and we met Sammy Lee Davis, the Medal of Honor recipient. That uh, For My Brothers, which is a short documentary, is about, and also the feature film that we are developing called Cudgel. It's about Sammy Lee Davis. So, anyways, he's over there. He's playing his harmonica. He's telling his story. And my brother and I both look at each other. We turn in the middle of the theater and we're like, dude, we got to make a movie about this guy. And I'll let Todd tell you the rest of what happened after that.
So after basically he after his speech, and then we went outside, and he was doing a book signing and had all his books. And Nathan and I were like, "Oh, we got to go meet him. We definitely have to tell a story. The especially when he plays a harmonica, it just pulls on the heartstrings. And then why he plays it in memory of all his brothers from Vietnam, and it's for really all the veterans out there too. And the song is, of course, Shenandoah. So it's a very near and dear song to a lot of people, and people understand what that song's about, right? So, um, but when we went outside at Disney Studios, we went and there were no books, right, Nathan? There were no books, right?
Yeah,
For us.
no
There were
books.
no books. And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'll send one to you." And so then after we got a photo with him, which you saw in that promo fundraising video with Nathan and I, with Sammy, where he's in the center of the table with I think it's a pink background or something. That was Disney Studios. And he after he said he'll send him books to us, Nathan shook his hand, and Sammy puts his business card in Nathan's hand, and he goes, "Let's make a movie." And I was like, "What?" So, yeah, and I guess the rest is history after that. We got to know him, and I'll let Nathan chime in here a little bit on when we visited him in Indiana.
Oh, you want to get into that?
Yeah, I figured because that's why we
All right, cool. So,
started it.
so, so, we ended up building a relationship with him, and I definitely got to give Todd credit because he really was diligent about following up and getting to know Sammy, and and I mean I reached out too, but Todd was very diligent, and it paid off because he ended up inviting us out to his home in Indiana to spend time with him and his wife Dixie, and he took us fishing with his son. We got to pick and grin. He brought down his banjo. He brought down old Gertie, which is like this old guitar from the 1930s that was given to him before he went to Vietnam. And so yeah, we just had a good time, some good old country living, and you know, and now we're here. So
Wow. And you guys, I've followed this for a long time because I met Todd when I was trying to produce one of my TV shows. And when I learned what you guys were doing, you guys have really defined the industry, making a difference and telling stories that you normally don't hear about. We hear about Smallville, Arrow, Flash, which I got to have the honor of helping with, but we don't hear stories about veterans. We don't hear stories that are based on real events often. We see a lot of fiction, but we don't see a lot of nonfiction like what you guys are putting out. And I've seen you guys at the awards, and I've seen just so much difference and impact. I've talked to some of my fellow actor friends who even know who you are, and they're like, I've never seen anything like it. They're making a difference in the industry in a way that I can't put words to describe. That's what Jason said. He said, I can't describe it. Seeing what they're doing is what the industry needs to become, telling stories of hope in a time of darkness and desperation. And you guys are fulfilling that role and doing that. I mean, with this project, and I know you've done others, what is your vision after this project? What do you want to do?
Oh, well, thanks for all that. That's definitely meaningful. One thing I will touch on before I say that is, I mean, we all love our fantasy, superhero cape wearing movies and TV shows, and at the same time, it's great to see what a real hero is in real life that doesn't
Yes.
have
Yeah.
superpowers, only the
Yeah.
only the you know the providence of God, and but we're just thankful that we can tell stories like this. And I think what this is going to do is open doors for us to tell stories that have meaning, that have impact, that can uplift and let people know that, hey, there's more to life than what we're seeing on our TV screens. There's more to life than what has been, brought to us. And I think it's important to really just the beautiful thing about film is you can really show the human condition. I mean, we're both theater, we both come from the theater, and one thing I said was that no matter what happens with all of this new technology and this innovation, which I think it's great to have innovation, it's great to have tools, but it's nothing's ever going to replace the human heartbeat, and nothing can be made. um you know Nothing can be made like the simplicity of a flower. It's so complex in how it's made, but it's so, yet the beauty is so simplistic. And I think when it comes to telling true uh true stories that can really make people think about their lives. And here's the thing. Everybody, I don't care who they are, what kind of ideology they have, everybody wants to know how they got here, why they're here, and where the heck they're going afterwards. And I think that we can, through through the life that's been given to us, I think we can at least light the path to help
Yeah,
people see that. Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. I really believe story, just like David, what you're doing here.
that's what I'm trying to do. I started my own production. Yeah, like you
Hey, Justin, we can't hear him.
sorry,
Yeah, we
it cut
we
out.
can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I was
Yes.
trying to hear you. I'm like, should I say something or what? So thanks, Nathan.
No, no, no. You're
Yeah.
good. You're good. Let me check one thing. Okay, now we're good. Okay.
Oh yeah, you're loud and clear now.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying you guys are making such an impact with storytelling like this. People can learn from example of you. I've even learned, like as a writer, it really inspired me seeing you out there telling these stories. And I've gotten so much pushback from trying to be the change in the industry. And boy, am I getting attacked for it.
Mm.
And there has to be hope in a world of darkness. You guys are bringing that to the forefront. You mentioned leading people to ask questions of truth and why they're here. And that's this week, my 9-year-old son, he dropped his book. We're going to produce it as a TV show. It's changes like that that impact lives. And I'm just honored to see you guys do this and make a difference in so many. And, you know, veterans aren't talked about at all in Hollywood. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's just not. There's one show that I sort of helped with, which was SEAL Team. And that is the only military drama that I know of that has actually been correct or even cared to talk about these issues. And I got to hand my hat off to you. You've made such the big impact in the industry. Like, from here, are you going to do more with that? Are you going to morph into other stories of other veterans? What do you see yourselves doing?
Well, David, I'll touch a little bit on what you said. You said not many things are done with vets in the industry. Uh, since this is about truth, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and speak truth.
Please.
Over the years, I've seen the only times we are utilized or used in the industry is when there's incentives to expose us.
Oh.
And I see that a lot, However, there are great people out there too, and there are great platforms that do want to give to the veteran community. But like Nathan was saying earlier, we want to specialize as brothers, as filmmakers, into basically telling stories of light, right? We're going to show the darkness of the real world, and redemption isn't easy. Faith isn't easy. It's like clawing through the dirt to get where you're going, and your fingernails are falling off. Your fingers could be falling off. You just keep going, right? So, those are the type of stories we want to tell. We truly believe too, as a filmmaking team and as brothers and as believers in God, that everyone has a story. And the three things story really does is it really connects people, it heals people, and it inspires people.
Yes.
And that is like what we're trying to stick to, right? Those three things, and then the things of like truth, hope, redemption, grit, what real love and integrity is, right? What doing the right thing when everyone will hate you for doing the right thing is, those are the characters and those are the things we want to bring to the screen, or the ordinary man doing extraordinary things, or ordinary woman doing extraordinary things, like Sammy Davis, ordinary man from Indiana, goes into Vietnam, and boom, he's doing extraordinary things, all because he answers the call of courage because he loves his brothers.
Yeah.
So it's love. And I think not enough movies show what a real love is in life. They show the romance between a man, a woman and women, or all this stuff on film, but they never go into what like a true love is, right? And it seems like we all understand that the truest love is when you're willing to lay your life down for another one, right? For another person, for another friend. And I really don't believe people understand what that means. And most people, I think, if they were challenged with that in their life, they wouldn't answer that call. I see it every day, So we really want to uplift those people, and tell those stories. And it so happened to be this one was Sammy, a Vietnam soldier, and he so happened to earn the Medal of Honor for the brave actions he did in order to save another person, and just keep saving them out of love. Just keep going until he just was gassed out.
Wow.
And I would like to add on to that. So when it comes to telling this story about Sammy Lee Davis, it's one of those stories. So you mentioned about, they're not really talking about veterans, or when they do talk about veterans, it's usually on a negative side. It's usually drunks, druggies,
Yes.
in jail. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking any of those movies. I think they're all fine filmmakers. I think we know what we're talking,
Yeah.
from the 70s until now, whatever. But I'm just saying that a lot of the times it comes down to uh being less than. And the thing about veterans is it's when we were serving it was 1%, but now it's less than 1%, although things are turning around, so it's probably a little, now it's back to probably 1%. But here's the
Wow.
thing, uh this is an opportunity to tell a story about one of the most controversial wars,
Yes.
and put and here's a beautiful thing I'll tell you. So Sammy says he loves, so being a Medal of Honor recipient, he has to travel. He travels all around the world and he talks and he speaks about maybe 200 times a year.
Hmm.
And we asked him, Sammy, who do you enjoy speaking to the most, or what he loves
Mm,
to speak to kids. So he loves to go to schools and talk to just little ones that are, in grade school, right? And then he said he also loves talking to veterans. And he said
Wow.
what he loves talking about veterans the most is that he says if he can share his story, he can give an opportunity for other vets to say, you know what, maybe I can share mine. And in doing so, when they do that, they let a little bit of light in, where
yes.
whatever that story is that is just being bottled up, not talked about. um it just gives an opportunity to look at a man who, yes, he's a Medal of Honor recipient, and so that puts him in the echelon of people where people look up to those kinds of people, right? um not to idolize them, but to look up to them and say, wow, this person stands for courage, this person stands for being an upright citizen, this person is sharing their story. And he's very, he has joy. And I haven't met a lot of combat war veterans who show joy. And so, just the fact in that, it just like there's something different about this man, and his story is so special, and it's going to just give an opportunity to shed light on the Vietnam War. I mean, we obviously know that story. You need to have conflict, or you don't have stories. So obviously it's a great backdrop to tell a story on. But we're not like, putting an agenda together and saying, oh yeah, let's tell this and do this and do this. This story tells itself. And it's just because one man had care for another man who needed help, and he's like, I'm gonna go and help that man. And yes, his mom taught him when he was a young kid not to leave your little brother behind, and so he always had that ingrained in him. And his mom also taught him, you don't lose until you quit trying, which is his motto, that he tells us all the time and tells everybody else. And it gives people an opportunity to say, you know what, if I don't quit, then there's an opportunity that I might be able to go and get through this darkness, or get on the other side of this dark canal that he swims across, but metaphorically in our own lives. Like, if we quit, then that's when we lose. But if we don't quit, we can keep moving forward and keep, just like what Todd was saying, perseverance. And that's the thing that we want. That's what we want to show people, is like, hey, I mean, as well, David, and Justin, like making films, or making TV shows, whatever it is, you need perseverance. If you don't have perseverance,
Yes.
if you don't have grit, if you don't have an understanding of why you're doing it, what you're doing, then you're not gonna be able to get it done. And so I think that this would just inspire. It kind of brings back that old way of making films from like the 90s, early 2000s, that we lost, due to all this streaming and all this other stuff, that like it kind of brings us back there in a way. And like, hey, let's let's tell stories that have, some kind of substance to them.
Yeah,
I love.
I'll jump in, Dave, real quick if I
Go ahead.
can. Yeah, and in my mind, I think about, World War II and the, I don't say, the cosmetic parts of the war. Unless, like you said, unless there's an incentive, one reason or another, the Vietnam War just isn't talked about, and World War II and other wars and other conflicts are talked, and then more statues and more walls, and I just find it so remarkable that Sammy has that. He still has that no quit attitude. He's he's coming out. He's stepping out of the darkness, which we all can relate to some kind of darkness in our own lives. But to tell that story, I remember so many just across my 44 years of living. Uh, combat war veterans that they don't like to talk about the conflicts because of the things that they've seen and heard, and it this really this grabs at the heartstrings just as a human being that somebody is stepping out and is like, hey, here's what I went through. Yeah, I helped my fellow brother, but I was just doing what I was taught to do by my mom, and all of those little just being a human being that we all have the DNA, and that we're all connected. And I love the music aspect as well. Music is one of my preferred with therapies and coping mechanisms with my mental health. And I just love seeing the harmonica and the guitar, the bass, like, and it's just incredible. And I'm so grateful that you, Todd and Nathan, were able to meet Sammy and to even have the thought of putting a film together. And for our viewers and listeners, you can see hopefully on the screen, cudgelmovie.com is a website, the Instagram, the two Instagram for our guests there. Reach out, donate. Let's get this project done. Let's get it moving. I think going into 2026, what better way to get a good jump start on some good real life drama that doesn't have to be quote unquote produced in the sense of like we have to like fill this in because we have to have that car chasing scene, or we have all the the checking the boxes, that we have a human being. And that what's better than just telling the human story, because no matter where we're at in the world, we can connect with the human story. So thank you for you both for taking on this. And like you said, when the business cards and the looks at that those early times came, that I can just tell that you have that you just want to help people like at your core. So that's what that's how it is. It just we want to help people, whether whether somebody that's homeless, if they're an addict. We all have our different things, and it is absolutely, I think, imperative that this project gets completed, because we need a feel good story, but also mixed in a lot of darkness that Sammy went through, and we've all gone through some type of darkness, some more than others. And I just want to just reiterate to our viewers and listeners, this is a real life superhero. And as I mentioned, you don't have to wear a cape. You don't have to. And that's what a lot of films and shows, and David is one of the best at. But really, just talking about the human story. I mean, you can't get more pure and authentic as that.
Yeah. What you're saying. So Nathan and I were part of a live script show. I believe it was last week, and it was a great script. It was taking place in Vietnam and the Philippines. And the reason I bring that up is we met the writer, which is John McCartney, and it took him to 65 years old to write a script because he was not proud of his service, right? And these type of films can help people like talk it out, right? Imagine if he met someone like Sammy or someone else that could just get him to talk, another brother, right? And he wouldn't have to wait to 65 years to get a story out, right? Um, and he talks, he gets a story out. He's got therapy for himself, therapy for others, and the director that directed the show is John Lee Hancock. So, a very a big hitter in Hollywood, and uh, because he spoke about a story, it brought him to where he was and brought him the opportunities, right? So going into Sammy's story, and that's what I like about it. It's not a war story. It's really a coming of age story, right? Set in Indiana, and it goes through to boot camp and into war in Vietnam, and he finds love in Vietnam. Like he literally finds love. Like he's just shot up everywhere. He two blast waves from RPG hit him. He had his ribs separated from his chest. His spine was shot 30 times, so it was basically broken all over the place, fractured everywhere, concussion. What else do you have, Nathan? With he had some tears, shot in the leg.
Yeah, he shot in
Um,
the leg. He got blown up by RPGs.
yeah,
And then you mentioned the 30 beehive rounds, right? In the butt
yeah,
talks. No, I'm just joking. But
in the
yeah,
boat talks.
and just basically his lower extremity, like mid back to lower extremities, he got shot point blank by the. So basically, what happens with artillery is when the enemy is taking over. So he could see the enemy, like we asked him, you know, questions, and he said because we asked him like who was there, and he told us, and I said, how do you know? He goes, because they were right in front of my effing face. So it's like, okay,
You literally
they
said
were
he could
right.
see some of the enemy's
Yes,
eyes, their eyes.
yeah,
That's how
and so
close.
yeah, this is pitch black at night too, and so you have to be that
Yeah.
close, right? But so what happened is they thought he was dead. The gunner across from where Sammy was positioned when he got blown up, he landed in a foxhole. His butt was up, facing up, and he was face down, and in the foxhole. And so as the enemy is trying to take over their cannon, you don't let the enemy do that. So the the guy that was shooting the cannon behind Sammy thought they were all dead, so he put his howitzer to direct fire, and he directly fired at all the the NVA and the Viet Cong, insurgent or people that were raiding them, the enemy. And what happened was they're like these razor sharp darts when they fire this thing, direct fire, and 30 of them lodged into Sammy. They took out the enemy that was trying to take the Howards over, but they also lodged into Sammy. And he was already passed out though, so when he got hit, it just pushed him down further into the foxhole. And then he said, this is another thing too we love about the story is he said he turned when he woke up, he turned over and he felt like there were fire ants like eating him up. And he turns over, he looks up at the night sky and he sees the tracers coming over, and they're red, green, and blue. Uh, you know, Green is, communist, I think he was saying, and there's just all these different colors. And he looks up, he thought it was Christmas. He literally thought it was Christmas time. And he looks up and he's just thinking about Christmas back home, and then he realizes that he's actually he's alive, and now he has to go and take care of business and make sure that they don't take over the base, right? So I don't know. There's just these things that when we talk to other people, we don't hear these stories about like, oh,
Yeah.
I was shot and blown up, and then I thought it was Christmas time, and also you also don't know. No one really knows how they're going to react until something like that happens. But
Mhm.
he didn't seek his own well-being. He went and he did his job as a soldier, and then when it was all said and done, he hears a voice across the river saying, "Help! I'm a GI, don't shoot." And he's like, "Man, someone's got to go help him." So he, finds a raft and gets a mattress. He makes into a makeshift raft and swims across the river, and he ends up rescuing three men. One one has a femoral, I mean, sorry, a major artery wound that he has to, treat right away. But the other one is very fascinating. There's stuff written on this. His name's Jim Deister. He's alive today. He was shot. He had a point. He had a bullet wound to the head. I think it went into his cheek and out. But anyway, some of his brains were seeping out of his skull, and Sammy put them back in, and then swam across the river with the guy, thinking that they all thought he was dead. And to this day, Sammy gets to hold Jim Deister's grandbaby. I mean,
Yeah,
how? What? I mean, that's just a gift. I mean, imagine that's a gift, right? Like, not only did he rescue this man, but later on in life, he finds out that this man ended up having a child, a baby, and then that baby grew up to have a baby to where he can have a grandbaby, and he's alive today to tell the story.
Absolutely. David, if you want to jump in, here we go.
Sorry about that. The Santa Ana winds kicked my internet out.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
that's right. You got to send in the winds today.
Yes.
they're kicking up.
Oh my goodness. It's like right in the center and it just blows.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah,
It's
it's
good
okay.
we had all that rain earlier in the beginning of the winter.
Yeah.
Otherwise it
Hmm.
was dry. Be some fires.
Yeah, I mean Malibu, it was a mess.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
Uh,
yeah, we were there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we were
Well,
at the Palisades fire. Yeah.
yep, yep. You were if I remember right, you guys were affected by it, right?
No, we were firefighters in the front line there. I was there for about a month and a week, and Nathan was there for several days.
Yeah, I remember you messaged me and I was praying for your safety because you told me that and I was like, "Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
God keep him safe."
Yeah,
Thank
Um,
you for your
that was a
prayers.
crazy time. Thank
you're
you for thinking
welcome.
of us.
So you guys, I missed a little bit, but that's okay. I gotta be sure. Um, so like as filmmakers, because I'm producing a film, I'm getting pushback for the same reason. I'm telling a really hard story and I want light to be brought to a place that really isn't talked about. And I can really relate to what you guys said about that and that, your story about vets. And some vets don't want to talk about these things. And then they hear Sammy's story, and then, they're like, well, if he can, maybe I can. And that's kind of the reason I'm telling my story. And the reason I'm doing production the way I am is because of my experience, maybe it can help someone else to tell theirs and to inspire those. Um, that's why I write, actually, is to
Mm.
help people and to lift people up.
That's
And
awesome.
thank you. And from day one, I think I met Todd, what, 3 years ago, Todd? Three, four?
I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, I was trying to pinpoint it and let my brother know, but I forgot like how or when. But I knew it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
I was making a Christian superhero series.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with
Yeah.
from figures from the Bible.
No, actually, modern
Oh, okay.
day. So God gives this incredible strength to people in moments of need, like the firefighter who is trying to get a kid out but is going to get burned alive. There's stories in Malibu of that, speaking of. um, or the person that takes a bullet for someone just because
Hmm.
they want to do the right thing and then don't die. What about those stories?
No,
Or
those.
my father, the family who's missionaries in a country that hates Christians, and the mom prays to make us invisible so our family can get out, and God makes them invisible. And those are the stories I told in that story, and that really made people go, whoa. And that's kind of I have my own platform now. It's about 100,000 viewers now, followers. And I write about myths, folklore, and culture. And it's become a ministry. And so I want to make the first alternative to Marvel and DC to bring in folklore but to also bring in reality of what's going on today. One of the major
Yeah.
pushbacks that I'm getting is I want to make an African American story because it's relevant to where I grew up. And if you read the treatment in the story, it tells a really hard story, but it tells a story of faith, courage, and endurance. And yes, there is military in it because, of course, the dad served. So we deal with PTSD. We deal with that's judged in the church. People don't like to talk about that.
Mhm.
And my dad served, and so I can kind of relate to that. And so you mentioned the industry, and I wasn't going to ask this, but I'm going to anyway because I'm facing the same challenge. You know, I say industry, but I was in the industry and I saw that they were part of the problem. And we need to make stories that aren't mainstream because the stories they tell, I guess the right word, is so select. They're
Mhm.
so select in their stories. And it's the same thing.
Mhm.
It's literally a label with the same name on it. And so that's why I started my own production and doing things that way. And I've really been inspired from the first day I talked to you, actually, to pursue my career even more. And for Justin too, we've been in this together. We fired our one line producer. um, we're looking for another, and it's a journey to see how much impact film can have on the way people think. Your story alone is going to change people who see it. And I think you know that they're going to start a conversation. You mentioned that of, remember that war? What war? Vietnam. Oh, yeah, that war. I don't really know much about it. And we've seen movies of Captain America and World War II and World War One, but we never talk about Vietnam.
Oh, no.
Right.
And it's crazy. Even today, it's controversial. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, but I like it shouldn't be, right? And
Yeah.
one thing I want to, because you said the God gives you power in those moments, just like Sammy. Like he basically said, to God, one more for the round when it wasn't working. One more, God, one more. Very similar to Desmond Doss did in at Hacksaw Ridge in World War II. He kept saying one more, one more. And I think God, when you put yourself forward and you have that just undying faith, um, and you really like give all your heart and soul and might to God and you ask him one more, you know, that divine nature that comes in you, that's not human anymore. There's humanity in it, but like there's I'm fascinated by what happens when you ask, when you're so down, your tribulation, your struggle, and you're just at your wits' end in these moments in life. And when you ask God something, it's coming from everything. It's not surface. It's real. And then I'm intrigued at like what happens, or what makes that happen, right? And so I'm with you on that. Um, one Nathan, I want to touch on one thing that Nathan didn't. So Cudgel is just it bridges so many gaps. It has so many things. Um, Sammy is an amazing person. The story around him, the events and opportunities that God gave him, it just shows so much. Like I said, it's a coming of age film. It so happened to be, he found love in Vietnam. But now in Vietnam, the same guy, Gwendolyn Holloway, one of the guys he saved across the river, um, when Sammy's in the hospital later on. So we'll wind a little bit back. He gets the three brothers back to the mainland, we'll say from the canal, right? It's about 25 meters long, wide, goes back to the land. And Sammy's just exhausted, right? And he sees like this Roman soldier and then stops and falls back in the water. And one of his brothers pulls him out of the water. And, he doesn't like Nathan said, he doesn't think about himself. After all that, he literally goes back to a cannon that's working, and he joins his crew, whoever's alive still, right? Um, and he just does his job as a soldier. Not until when they're basically going out and doing the AAR, the after action report, and they're going out and holding everything accountable, bodies, material, ammo, unexplosive devices, stuff like that. You gotta rally and tally that up, right? And so, not to after that does he pass out. So he didn't even quit. So you don't lose to quit trying. It's so true, right? He didn't even quit, and when he's in the hospital, he's still not quitting, but he has a fever of about 107 degrees. They throw him in the hallway, and it's sad to say, but the Army, yes, and all the branches, when and you don't even have to be in combat. It's just, if you're in an area where there's just so much chaos going on, they don't have the supplies, they don't have the manpower, they will put you in a hallway to die. And so they took Sammy, after all what he did, they put him in a hallway to die. All right. Then a guy comes along and basically pleads with the doctor that he needs to do something. What do? We put people to die in a hospital after after they're heroes. And it so happened to be Gwendolyn Holloway. And literally, the doctor said, we can't do anything. He needs blood. He's at high fever. And Gwendolyn Holloway says, I have his blood. They go in for a transfusion, and he rescues Sammy now. He saves Sammy. Now, what that basically bridges is a racial issue. Gwendolyn Holloway is a black infantryman. It's in the 60s, 67, right? So there's still segregation, still all that stuff going on, right? Sammy didn't see that. He didn't see color. He didn't see where he grew up. He didn't see any of that. He saw a brother in need, right? Another human being in need. It's humanity at its core. And Sammy is probably like the only vet that I know, and I'm saying even above Nathan and I, that is so wholesome and he has so much humility for what he'd been through, right? And he is not the normal narrative Hollywood does, like Nathan said. And it bridges so many things. There's so many things in it. It's like God just showing everyone, you've been hating on each other for too long. You just need love, because it's all about love. He found love in Vietnam. Like, yeah, there's a brotherhood love, and there's, love in the military, but he found like a lot of love in Vietnam. And of all the wars we talk about, we usually talk crap on Vietnam. The soldiers are baby killers, or they're this, they're that. It's nothing but negativity. This film is going to bring light in Vietnam, and we're both hoping that it really lifts that veil and shows people a different opportunity or possibility to look at that war, and that's what we really want people to see is it's humanity at its core, right? It's the relationship of the two men from Shawshank Redemption, if you saw that movie, met with the brotherhood of Saving Private Ryan, and then met with the undying steadfast faith of Hacksaw Ridge. So it's all those three films in one, and it's an amazing story. It's Sammy and it's God. We're just blessed that God picked us to tell it.
And very well said. And here's another thing, David. I want to jump in here too. You were bringing up some stuff about faith and stuff. So, two things. One on faith, one on Vietnam. Okay, so when we did the short documentary, we didn't talk much about, but it was it's called For My Brothers. Sammy plays Shenandoah on his harmonica for his brothers, right? He goes whenever he travels, he always plays it, and he says it's because it's for his brothers. Now, any of you been to the Vietnam War Memorial in DC?
I have. My dad served.
Okay, yes, I know you mentioned your dad served, but I didn't know you've seen it.
Mm-hmm. He served
Okay,
in
so oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 58,000 men and women on that wall, right? And that wall is designed to cause one to reflect, right? It's transparent, to look at it, To reflect. Okay. So we were told, you talk about perseverance, this might help you too, when you guys are both pitching your stuff or doing your projects. We were told not that we wouldn't be able to film there. So don't try it because it's expensive. It's going to be really hard to do. And the second thing is we also reached out to people we thought would maybe, provide an opportunity to do so, and they can. And we were met with opposition from them. And so we were like, okay, well, we're just trying to get this shot. So, hey, Sammy, how do you feel about doing a shot in DC? You wearing your service uniform, playing the harmonica next to the Vietnam War Memorial. Oh, great! That sounds great. And then so he brought us out to a event that they do every year. It's the National Medal of Honor weekend. It's or National Medal of Honor Day weekend. It's in March, right? And so he brought us out to that event, and then he gave us the next day to film them at the wall, right? And so when you watch the short doc, you'll see that shot, you'll see those shots and how important it is, not only to the story that we're telling, but we're also we're veterans. We're saying, hey, look, every veteran that served, thank you. And especially the Vietnam veterans, like, hey, welcome home. They did not get a welcome home. And actually in the movie we're doing with Sammy, we're showing how he was treated horribly when he got back. Even before he got to his hometown, like in San Francisco. I won't go into details, but he was treated horribly and did not retaliate. Did like literally turn the other cheek and did not
Okay.
retaliate. And
Yep.
that is very powerful to have an audience just see that. To go from all this to see that, it's like wow. And then the second thing I wanted to tell you was you got to if you think about the gospel and you think about faith, you look at a man who who became flesh as a baby, right? That's why the only reason why there's hope in this whole entire world is because of the Christmas story, that God would
Amen.
would because
Amen.
he loves his
Amen.
creation, that he would come and he would say, hey, the only he can provide salvation. No man can, right? So the fact that he intervenes and brings brings Jesus into the world, where Jesus is God, but I'm just saying, like, becomes a baby, right? Adam and Eve were not babies. They were full grown, right?
Yeah.
So Jesus becomes a baby, but I want to tell you this: as he grows up, he doesn't have a place to lay his head. In the Gospels, it says it, right? Like foxes have holes, and but he doesn't have a place to lay his head. Okay, everyone you talk to that is either a skeptic, or is an atheist, or who is whatever you want to say, they'll say, "Oh, he was a great teacher." Okay. Okay. Well, I have more for you here. So he didn't have a place to lay his head when he was on earth, right? In his ministry. He did not have a place here at all. Yet he died in our place for our sins and said, I will go and prepare a place for you in heaven, right? So he didn't have a place here, and the people that didn't want him, it pushed him away. And he even said, if the world hates me, they're going to hate you. So he pushed them away, or they pushed him away. In fact, when he started saying the truth, that's when they wanted to kill him, right? But what I'm trying to say, I'm just trying to give you an example here, is he didn't have a place, yet he died in our place because he only could, no one else could. And so praise God for that. And then he goes and prepares a place for those who believe in him in heaven. I mean, it's kind of like, it's just a beautiful story, right? And God uses a story to get people to know who he is. And so he gives us an opportunity to create with him, in the sense of having art. You were talking about like PTSD and mental health and stuff. Art is so important to this world. Yes, you need your
Yes.
engineers
Yes.
to get us, you know, to innovate and get us to space and get us to have business, but you also need art. You need the Shakespeare, you need the poets, you need the great writers of our time,
The
you
painters.
know,
Yeah.
and yeah, painters, filmmakers, all of it. You need all of it in order to have meaning, right? And the beautiful thing is God didn't use, you know, a math problem. Yeah, he talked about money a lot in the scripture, but he didn't use a math problem. He used a story. Because
Yes.
story is how we can relate with one another. Like even if we don't have the same culture, we can watch a story about someone else's culture and say there's something about humanity in that, and then you can say, wow, I can relate to this because maybe I've been through it. Maybe it's grief. Everyone deals with grief. Maybe it's falling in love. Oh wow. You know, or maybe it's just the joy of having a pet or a baby, right? Like anybody can, it doesn't, you don't need to have any kind of demographic or culture to understand that. And so that's the beautiful thing about story. And I just wanted to share that with you because you mentioned stuff about what can you do to keep getting your projects forward. You have some great ideas. You know, I think the industry definitely does have a huge spot for faith-based content, you know, and we are not so much saying, hey, we're gonna tell faith-based stories. I mean, I think that's great. I mean, and we don't have a problem with doing that. I just think it's there's something really cool when we don't have to say we don't have to say as much in the movie, but to where it can become a talking piece to when someone talks to you, you can be like, oh, yeah, this is what's going on here, right? So I think I mean everyone has different ways of telling story. I mean, if you look at we're in the holiday season right now, right? So whoop de whoop. No, so we're in the holiday season right now, right? You've seen Home Alone, right?
Yes.
Have you not seen the? I probably shouldn't mention this because I should know the characters, but have you not seen the man that they're all scared of that's shoveling the snow? Have you seen
Yeah.
all the things that there's things in the film that they do specifically that kind of set this man apart from everyone else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he's looked at as the like everyone all the young kids are, oh, that guy's gonna hurt you, stay away from him, but he ends up coming to the little one's rescue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking you know what I'm talking about, right?
I
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
When you see Home Alone,
Yeah.
and he also has a cloth on his hand and it's red, and again, I don't want to get too deep, but it's very interesting that this movie they put this man in this position to where when you watch it, because remember film, if you go the other way, there's a lot of subliminal messages that film uses. Ever
Oh
since
yeah.
we were kids, if you watch all these Little Mermaid and all these other movies, Lion King, if you go back, you can see these subliminal messages that condition our brains to go a certain way and to go the way the world wants,
Hmm.
Yes.
right? But as
Absolutely.
believers and as people of faith, like we're called to be set apart. So there's ways to still be called set apart, but to still bring others across the river like Sammy does, bring others and say, hey, this is the truth.
Absolutely.
And again, watch Home Alone and you'll see what you'll see it there. You're like, wow, like you don't really see that. Like when I was a kid, I didn't see it.
Well, I mean, that's, yeah, like the book I'm writing right now, which I'm screenplaying, it, I tried to present the gospel in a way where you don't preach it, you show it,
Mhm.
and you don't shove it in someone's face. You show how it can impact and you
Yes.
know how to apply it.
Yes.
People don't want to go to the movie theater and go, I'm going to hell. People want to know why they should care about if they're going to go to hell, not
Mm.
if they're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
You keep the academia out, and then you show spirituality is what you're
yes,
doing. And
yeah,
and another thing, what Nathan said, I'd even go a little deeper. I tell this to people. Some people most people get upset, but the true storytellers just know it is. And even non-believers would tell me, yeah, you're right. There's not one story that has never been done out there that hasn't been inspired by the Bible.
That's right.
Mm.
The
Amen.
Bible
Come on.
inspires every story. And that's the thing is God didn't take stem, he took art to tell his story, right? And I like that you put that, Nathan, but I tell people that all the time, like since biblical times, since we were here on the earth, it's been story, but it's also every story is taken from the Bible. I mean, all of the superheroes are taken from the Bible at one
Yep.
point or another for something of their nature, of the story, everything. I mean, you have I mean, horror films taken from the Bible. I mean, everything's taken from the Bible. Because that's truly the book that shows you truth of good and evil. And even the non-believer, it's innate in their heart because we are a creation of God, whether you believe in him or not.
Well, and it's
And
interesting because you look at, we'll touch on this, the demonic side of the
Yes.
industry.
Yep.
People
Oh,
go, oh, it's not real, it's not real. Well, tell me something. Why are we so obsessed with the
mm,
dark? Why are we
mhm.
so obsessed? We
Hmm.
got I think it's Magnificent. Yeah. The
Yep.
villain, the villains, Coretta Deville, the vampire movie Sinners were
Oh.
obsessed with this blood
Hmm.
hmm
and the demonic. I get the vampires. I get there's stories out there, but why are we obsessed with the occult? Why is that there if there's not truth in what the Bible is saying? The Bible says darkness is that. Prove
Yes.
hmm
me wrong.
Yes.
There's no hope in these movies. It's demonic.
Yes.
Is
And
it wrong?
and and David, you mentioned something about SEAL Team, and I want to tie this in because this is interesting. Do you know who AJ
Please.
Buckley is?
Yes.
Well, you're looking at the man who stunt doubled him for what episode, Todd, or two?
a couple episodes, yeah. Yeah.
So Todd got to stunt double for AJ Buckley, which is really cool, right? So AJ Buckley just on his Instagram, he's doing this podcast called, what is it called? It's called The Real Fake Seal.
A real big seal, yeah.
Okay, so obviously AJ Buckley was in. Uh, you just went high pitch, man.
Yeah, dude.
So no,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
got
AJ
it on
did.
Buckley
I
brought.
TikTok.
did.
I don't like to drop. I don't like to drop names, but this is very. It goes along what you were saying, and it
Yep.
just. I literally just watched it today. Like I just watched this what is it? A reel. You know when you put videos on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
he's
Yeah.
literally saying in there. It's not verbatim, but you can go on his page and you'll see it. He talks about this. He says a story like the Bible written 2,000 years ago, right, is still or to the 2,000 years ago Jesus being here on Earth 2,000 years ago, it still holds up. That was his whole point. It still holds up. And I commented and I said it because it's the word of God and it does not return void. Yes, it's gonna always hold up, right? Jesus
Hmm.
even said that heaven and earth will pass away, but the words of God will not, right? So he mentions that on his Instagram just recently, and I was like, yeah, you brought up SEAL Team, you talked about it's like, yes, the Bible is gonna always hold up. You look at a story like it's not a story, but you look at like Watergate, the Watergate scandal, right?
Yeah.
With Nixon, right? I think it took
Mhm.
them 3 weeks to fold and say what the truth was. What did the disciples do? They got sawed in half. They got hung upside down on a cross. They died because this is the truth, and this is just what it is. It's it's truth, and
Well, we touched
the
on the massacre that no one's talking about right now. Not one person.
Mhm.
There's a massacre. One of my fellow pastors. There's a massacre in Africa right now.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody. We've
Is
lost.
this in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Yep.
hmm
we've
See,
Yep.
all
that's a story
Well,
we need to
and what
do
I
too.
found
That
interesting is
those stories.
Nicki Minaj, out of all the people because you
I
would think she's in the
know.
system, she's speaking out against it.
I
And
know.
she's getting hate because
Of
she's
course she is. Of
supporting what Trump is
course she is.
saying about it. But we don't need to get involved. I'm just saying, like, she's lit out of all the people to speak out against it. Nicki Minaj is doing. I'm like, wow, God's
Yeah.
definitely doing something in these people's hearts. Like yeah. So
I mean,
for
and so like
sure.
there is revival, and that's the other thing. Like my son, my 9-year-old, he put out his book on spiritual warfare. Out of all things, he put it out. 200-page book, Spiritual Warfare. Dad, I want to write a book on spiritual warfare because of what I'm experiencing. Do it.
Wow, 9 years
That's
old.
cool.
Yep, you
That's
can
really
buy
cool at
it.
9 years old.
It's called The Search for Drake Colton. I want to produce it. He wants it to be a TV show. It's a powerful story that it just blows the mind that he wants to touch the world in that way. He sees the world spiritually because
Mm,
we've seen things because of what I've experienced, and he's gotten to grow in the word because he's addicted to it in ways that
mm,
I never could fathom until now. He knows his Bible, I'll say that. And he really wants to touch the world in his stories. Tonight, he's actually writing his new book, which is going to touch on another issue that he sees with his generation, and that is turning the cell phone off and saying, I want to talk to God instead of saying, I'll do it tomorrow. And he wants to talk about social media affecting, and he wants to talk about the darkness of subliminal messages that he found, much to our
mm.
surprise. We actually have an episode of him on talking about his vision for pointing these out and making kids aware that, hey, you don't have to go this way. There is another path. Let me show you hope. And that's what he's doing. And so I'm so proud of
At
him.
9.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. His book is number 66 on kids fiction on Amazon right now.
That's great, man.
That's awesome. That
I
is so
think I
awesome.
think Todd and I were just climbing trees playing GI Joe at 9 years old. I mean, that's pretty cool that like he's
Yeah.
writing books, man.
And
Oh,
like,
we might have been reading some C.S. Lewis too. I think at that age too. But yeah, wow,
so
that's pretty impressive.
my family's goal, I don't know if you read up on, you probably don't know, but I run mythical creatures around the world. And it's a ministry. I talk about folklore from all over the world. However, I always tie it to the Bible. And it's interesting what you said. And I have Muslims, I have atheists, I have people that worship Satan. And I get all these messages that say, so who's God then?
Mm,
Who's Jesus? Why did you put that in there? I worship that God, or I know that creature, or I know UFOs, but you're saying the Bible has that in there. I never, what Bible
mm,
scriptures? I get those all the time. I had a witch doctor contact me and say, you know, I never thought of Jesus that way. I mean, I worship Satan. And I said, okay. And he goes, you're not afraid of me? And I said, absolutely not. And he goes, I love your work. Would Jesus save me? Like, because people hate
mm,
I cast spells. And I said, yes. No sin is greater than the other. And he came to
mm.
God. He's a pastor.
Wow.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
so
But
this,
see how important story is though, and it gives an opportunity to have those talking points because
yes, it
like
does.
when you think about the veteran community that Tyler and I are part of, like and your dad is too, like we've had people, especially from Vietnam, open up to like people don't talk, like especially ones who are they don't want to
Mhm.
talk, but we've had men open up to us. I had one guy from Afghanistan war tell me, I don't think Jesus can save me. I said, well, why do you say that? and he just mentioned the children, right? And we don't need to get into
Yeah.
detail, but obviously they become combatants when they have certain, things on them. And so, and that's an individual decision that anybody in that situation has to make. And now they have to live with that, and they feel like they can't. And I had one of my friends, but he's like, I see how like just how like much faith you have, and how like excited you are about sharing it, but not like in a way where it's just cramming down but I just see it in your life and how you live it out. I said, well, that's only by God's grace. But he's like, yeah, he's like, I just don't know if God can save me. And I was like, and I got a chance to talk to him and share the gospel with him, and it's these things that yeah, the storytelling is great, and being able to do this, but like when it comes down to it, it's being able to have those conversations, and you know it's nothing we do. We just become what is it, vessels, broken vessels who get to share the message with people, the message of hope,
Yeah.
so
And I agree with that. And right now I'm making the first Christian RPG, which is a role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons.
mhm.
Yes, it's gonna have biblical characters. That's where my son is helping me with it. We actually designed some characters today, a little bit. Um, and then we want to build a Christian superhero alternative to what's out there, because I believe that faith matters. And I believe that we can reach billions if we try. If we keep going like the industry and going, oh, well, you know, they hate me, or no one's ever going to listen, we're never going to. Okay, what do we do to make a change? What can we do to make a difference? And I've gotten blacklisted because I truly want change. I truly want faith in my stories. I truly want to touch on topics that people do not like, because
Mm.
people that don't like them aren't comfortable with them, but the people going through them are the ones being judged.
Right.
You know,
Have you had a
I
chance?
can.
Have you had a chance to talk?
I Go ahead.
Go on. No, go ahead.
Oh no, you were saying, have you had a chance to? Go ahead.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to talk with anybody in the industry that's doing what you want to do, or that at least has started paving the road for you know faith-based storytellers, because there's people out there that are doing it, um and they've they've caused a lot of ripples, let's say, a lot of people that would say no or completely turn it away would be like, oh, this is lucrative, right? And because you got to think about it, at the end of the day, show business is a business. And if it's
Yeah.
just art, there has to be an understanding of business. There has to be an understanding of how is this going to, produce a, capital, right? How is this going to, uh, you know, how is this going to bring an ROI to the investors who come on board? What is this? What kind of seats or what kind of streaming is this going to sell? Oh, it comes down to business, which is important. And but at the same time, there's people that are doing it right now. And I think that if like, have you already explored, have you talked to, it's not always easy, but I don't know. I don't know who you've spoken to, or if you've been around, maybe Justin, I don't know if you guys talked to any of these people that are doing it now.
Um, we've had a few meetings. I'm still trying to find out all of the players. Um,
Okay.
because the answer is no, because I've worked mainstream. And a lot of my actors that I know are Christian, and we want to do something that's never been done. And we're kind of new to this change. A part of that
Right.
a part of that goes with why I became a writer. I think you know my story, but I'm a survivor of human trafficking. And I was taken to a foreign country and I got away. How I got away is I prayed to God, an angel blinded my captor, and I got away. And that inspired me so much. All the viewers will know my story, but it inspired me to tell stories of how real God is and how powerful God is.
Mm.
And that's what I want my impact to be in the industry. And that's why I write, is to tell stories that inspire but also challenge and make someone a better person at the end of the movie or the TV show or the script or novel or comic, because I released
R-
my first comic. I want them to be challenged, and then I also want them to go, what can I do better? How can I be better?
Yeah, I totally get that, and that's exactly what Nathan and I want to do. And we know Cudgel is a story that would do that. It would challenge people at the end. It would make them question things. It would give them a different opportunity, or challenge them with a different mindset. So yeah, I really like that, David. Actually, that's really cool. That's one of the biggest things I we want to do within the other things I want to show, right? And that has to do with love too, because love, like, it's like Proverbs, right? Like, do you want the kisses of an enemy or the wounds of a friend, right? And love will wound
Mm.
you, and you should allow it to wound you at the best times from the right people to better yourself and to grow from it.
I love that. Yeah. And like the story I'm writing tonight, it's a novel. It'll be out for Christmas. I know. Like I'm writing a novel in 3 days. Yeah, it's gonna happen. God put it on my heart. God put it on my heart. So when God
And
puts
see,
some, it's
that's the
like,
thing when he puts something on your heart, that's the driving force.
yeah,
It's him opening doors, it's him closing doors. It's the Lord gives and takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. It's like you were mentioning something about your story. Thanks for sharing a little partial about it. But like you've seen Sound of Freedom, right?
as the audience knows, I had a part in that. Yep.
Okay, great. So therefore, so yeah, right, exactly. So I'm just saying that like these types of films, these types of stories are people want to see them. They want to know about them, right? Whether whatever part we have in these, and if we do have a part, then being like, oh well, where do I go to do it? You already have that. You already know. So it's like it's just a matter of getting people. You can't do anything without people, right? And without capital. And so getting people
Mhm.
that see your vision, that want to see the thing done, then there's people out there, right? And of course, like you said, the power of prayer. You just keep praying, and things will happen.
And
And we do that on the daily. Like we truly, I pray a lot. I know my wife and my son do too, and I
good.
got a newborn now, and that's a blessing on its
Oh,
own.
congrats.
For
Thank you.
sure. Congratulations.
It's just been incredible, and to have that in your life, and to it really opens your eyes, and it's even made me more strong in my faith, and
Hmm.
and brought my wife closer. And my wife is also a writer too, so she's actually writing another book. um, she wants to she wants to make a movie too. We got halted because of production 3 years ago on her film, but we're going to try to kick that back up. But yeah, what you said nailed it. Like God has really put this in my heart. Um, what happened to me, the Sound of Freedom, I have to be careful now because I've signed NDAs, but I had a big part because of my journey and what I went through, and I had the honor and privilege and courage of working with said person that was the agent in that project. And my mom also was there on set as that movie was filmed, and I'm hated for it because I ricocheted a moment in history that ignited that human trafficking happens all over.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
right
that,
in Hollywood too.
yep. And that's why, if you listen to my episode 208, um, that's why I've ignited a war of going, this is unacceptable. No child is for sale. My mom came up with that. And it's true. When I was taken, I was not for sale. The other 200 children that were there, that still are there, are not for sale. And that is what I stand by. That is the rock that I stand on. And no, I don't make trafficking uh, in all my stories at all. But one story I want to tell is called The Trucker. And, he is a family man.
Yeah,
Go on,
Did
David.
we lose?
People are talking.
You're getting very robot-y, spotty. Can you move positions, maybe?
So it would be an action, sort of an alternative to back. Oh, sorry. Is that any better? Let me see.
Much better than where you
It's a
were.
lot better now.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, more clear.
Sorry, guys.
That was high pitch.
Uh, yeah. Well, David, not to cut you off, but wanted to uh, being blessed that Zoom has given us 90 minutes, which I've never. I mean, I have the I have I have the free version, and I got it, and it says the max you'll get is 45 minutes. There's times where it's like 30 minutes, and it just cuts off,
Yeah.
so there's definitely a big reason uh, why we've been now over 90 minutes, and I just wanted to say. If it's all right to start rapping, uh, how powerful both of you are, how passionate you are, and that's how one of the ways I can judge an individual, whether they're in it for the right reasons. And you mentioned, there's got to be a capital and the people and that, and then beyond that, is there the passion, or is it just, yep, we're going through the motions? And that's what I love about Cudgel. That's what I love about Sammy. The fact that you went and met with him, that it wasn't like you read stories and things online, and that's what you went off of. You're like, you actually met the man, and that had a profound impact on where we're at and why we want individuals, organizations, investors, uh, anybody that has an interest and wants to see this come to fruition, which we believe it will, because we're gonna blast this out like we always do. Uh, can we just give maybe Nathan and Todd like one final push and wrap up, if that's okay? Yeah. Either one. You start doesn't no particular order.
You want to take it?
You, you could take it. I guess I'll go after you.
All right, sure, why not?
Jump on,
All
man.
right, so come on, man. So, Justin, what exactly you want me to do?
Just to wrap it up about Cudgel, how people can invest, how they can learn more about it, become more of a part of it,
Sure.
fundraise, just yeah, the pitching.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, thank you for having us on here. It's been a pleasure. Enjoyed the conversation we had. For all those out there who are listening, if you go to cudgelmovie.com, Cudgel right there, Cudgel.com is where you can find more information, where there's a page to donate, because we're in development, and as any filmmaker, independent filmmaker knows, you need to you need to get as much funds as you can to just even get things moving in the right direction, right? And so we take every single proceed of that, and we just put it towards getting this thing done. We're just pushing it up the hill, and we're just keep going and going and going. And so any little bit helps, whether you can you can put some money in the donation, whether you can take a copy and paste the link to the website and share it with at least five of your friends. We also did a live CBS LA segment today, where
Mhm.
we're now blasted out in Los Angeles, which is really cool. So you can go to that website, and they do a thing called Voices for Veterans, or Veterans Voices, and they do it once a month. And so our stories on that. You go on Instagram, which you see. Thank you for putting our Instagrams up there. Um, Anything you can do, whether it's liking, commenting, sharing, going on the page, actively donating, we will appreciate all of it. Todd will have some more things to follow up with, some of the GoFundMe campaign thing we're doing. But yeah, I mean, that's how you can find us. And if you want to reach out, chat about films, if you want to talk about Cudgel, if you want to talk about faith, we're open. There's our personal Instagrams. Have at it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Nathan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, so thanks for having us, the Tetreault brothers, on here. It's been a lot of fun. I thought the conversation was great, and I thought it went to a good area. It's a bummer that we lost David when he was
Yeah.
telling us a really good story, some important stuff there. But yeah, so like Nathan said, Nathan, I want to reiterate it, because you know what? Everyone repeats themselves, and we're veterans, so we repeat ourselves. So if you want to move to your left or right, I'm going to say what the website is. All right. So it's Cudgel, as you see there, Cudgel movie.com. So it's cudgelmovie.com. On that website, on the first page, if you scroll down, we have our promo fundraising video. And then below that, we have For My Brothers, which is the one behind me right here. Can't see For My Brothers because it's below, and I don't know how to bring the photo up. So,
Darn.
and you can watch For My Brothers. You can barely see it, Nick, because of the background.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't say cudgelmovie.com. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
again, it's cudgelmovie.com. You go there and you can find the promo fundraising video, which you showed today at the beginning. And then also you can find For My Brothers, the documentary we did, the short documentary we did on Sammy, and he explains to you why he did what he did in Vietnam. Also on Instagram, Cudgel Movie on Instagram, Cudgel Movie on Facebook. When you go to the website, there is a GoFundMe, and some like people like PayPal, they're actually telling me they do both. So on the website, there's a PayPal link and there's a GoFundMe link. All the proceeds go to making now Cudgel, basically getting that to right people's hands. It goes all to that. So we would really appreciate you giving what you can give. Like Nathan said earlier, I mean, I wish, like, for Christmas, 1 million people give $1. you know, a
Yeah.
million give $1 on Christmas, you know, that would give us $1 million, and that would get us so many big P's and investors that want to come in and do the rest, you know. We got to bring some skin to the game, so we're asking you to help us do that and support us on that. Um, it's a great story. You know, well, like I said earlier, we're blessed to tell it, but really the story, it's God's story, and it's a story of Sammy. And we really need this love during this time. And like Nathan said, CBS LA did a new segment. We got 3 minutes of airtime today. It's pretty,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. It's a pretty cool video. It shows a lot and tells a lot. So we're really happy with it. So we're blessed that CBS LA wanted to do that on us. And
Wow.
that's that's pretty much it. You know, we're just looking for people to help. Like Nathan said too, you know, you can share it. You can send it to your family, friends, colleagues. You know, I met a guy today at UCLA Medical. He was never serving or anything. He said something that related to Cudgel. I brought it up, and he literally just texted 20 of his Vietnam buddies right there, the website. So you know,
Dude, that's cool.
yeah, so you can share with anybody. I mean, that's you don't need to help with monetary value. You can share with your energy and your network, you know. So we need a lot of help bringing it off the ground. Like you said earlier, we did put a lot of work into it, and we're just extremely like blessed and happy, and it's just joyful to be able to tell this story and to have the support we already had going forward, you know. It inspires us.
Absolutely.
You and David inspire us. We're
Oh,
inspired by people every day. And, you know, we need to really keep telling our stories, no matter who out there. I really truly believe it's not surface, it's not hot air like a lot of Hollywood is, like saying
yeah.
earlier. I truly do believe, as a veteran with my own problems, and as a human being with my own problems, and other people with their own problems, that when we have struggles and tribulation, right, we learn from that. And what we learn from that is our story, right? And that story really truly does connect, it heals, and it inspires. And I think everyone out there should tell their own story, because once we pass, that story's gone.
That's right. And thank you
I,
both for your service too. If I didn't say at the beginning, the incredibly grateful. I haven't served, but very grateful to each and every veteran, whether they're in heaven, whether they're with us, and then those obviously currently serving. Very much appreciate, and whenever I'm out, especially traveling, uh, see individuals in in uniform, I try to just say, hey, thank you for your service, because I wasn't able and to do that, and there's so much divisiveness and everything. Just something small like that, I feel, you know what, like that's what I can do at that moment as I'm wheeling my bag through the terminal or wherever, and seeing those individuals that are really putting it on the line. And we truly love having both of you on, and uh, just on so many levels, on the human level, on the veteran level, on the filming level, being so passionate, and uh, just really bringing, Sammy, it's his story, and he went through what he went through for a reason, and he's still with us for a reason. And I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the big reasons is for this production to go through, uh, to come to fruition, and for the masses to learn and know, whether it's Sammy himself, his story, or just a little bit more about the war. And uh, just like you said, just to have a conversation. It's uh, sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is just to have that icebreaker of getting the conversation started. And the next thing you know, like you mentioned, you're at the UCLA Medical Center. You're just talking to somebody and might not even had anything to do with Cudgel, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, 25 for, like, it gets sent out, and so it comes in all forms, monetary, the energy reaching out to networks and just sharing it. And you never know who's going to see those messages, those texts. And thank you for doing what you have done in the past, both on the military and the filming, and then currently. And we really are putting all of our prayers and all of our energy towards this because it's so needed. And it I mean, I just get like goosebumps as both of you were sharing, because it's like, oh my gosh, like this is something that the world does need. And whether somebody has served or they haven't, they're all human. Well, most of us, I guess. Um, and to have the opportunity to uh, put this on the screen or streaming, or however the plans work out. And then David, I just wanted to see if you were if you can jump in here and close us out as well.
Yeah, and I apologize, guys.
No
uh,
problem.
it's such an honor and a privilege to have you guys on. This is this is why we have a platform to put people like this on that are making an impact and a difference. Uh, it's truly inspirational to hear you guys talk, not only about your faith, but your courage and your endurance to put this out, to hear about this story, to hear what you guys have had to go through to get it here. And I can't urge the audience enough,
Mhm.
support this. This is a story that will impact culture and it will start a conversation. This is a story that will make a difference. This is the time for change, and it starts with you. Justin?
Thank you, David. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, Nathan, Todd, thank you so much for joining. We are going to get this turned around out tomorrow morning, East Coast time, probably around 9 or 10 a.m. And we'll get all the links and everything out to you personally. And then we blast it on all our social media platforms, and then do uh, a TikTok live in the evening, and that'll be what the focus will be for tomorrow's, on top of everything. So just wanted to give you, we want to get this turned around as quickly as possible. And again, thank you so much for everything that you've done, and for choosing us to have just a small part and sharing the message and the need and Sammy's story, and how anybody anywhere in the world can help us make this come to fruition. So until next time, thank
Hey,
you,
Justin,
RV. Oh yeah, go ahead.
could I say something before you go? I'm on
Absolutely.
this calling to say it, and it's not me being selfish. It's because what David said earlier, what you're saying now. Um, I want to inspire and challenge all you here, including Nathan and myself, to keep persevering forward. Um, where this filmmaking of perseverance, of love, of redemption, and the answer call, courage, and showing up, we didn't get into where it started. So I'm gonna just go real quick into that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
yeah,
please.
yeah. So our dad came down with lung cancer, and he Nathan and I got the call, and we at the first time in our faith, we're new to the faith about a year, and we basically just thought as new Christians, oh, we should fast and pray. So we did. Nathan got go see dad before the pathological report comes back. I got go now. So we did a red eye flight. We went out to Massachusetts. Our dad was dying. We knew it right when we walked in the room. Um, and then when we were there, God came to me and basically said, "You should film your dad." You know, and I asked him on the porch one day, and he said, "No, I don't want anyone to see me like this. I'm falling apart. I'm disintegrating." And Nathan got mad at me too, and I understand why. So, and then I went upstairs, and then a voice came back to me, and I started. I'll be real with you. Like that's one thing that a Christian like me, I'm very, very real. I got really angry at God. I started swearing at him because I didn't want to ask my dad again. It felt uncomfortable at this and that. And then I went downstairs, asked him again, and he got right off of his walker, just right up, big boy smile on his face. He's like, "Sure, let's do it, son." And Nathan agreed. The family didn't want to do it. People were like kind of giving that, like, they didn't hate me, but they disliked what I was doing, right? They hated what I was doing. And the reason I tell you this is if you truly feel it's a calling from God, like you said, David, earlier, your book, do it, man. Just do it. Don't get any validation. Don't worry about it, because I filmed this film just for my dad's service. But the people we shared it with said the world should see it. I still have not put it in a film festival yet, but we ended up filming my dad's like our dad's last 3 weeks of life, and the things we got in that were just blessings. And that was my first film, Nathan's first film we directed and produced and put together ourselves. And
Mm.
and it got me into one of the best schools. It got me actually accepted to USC, AFI, Chapman, and LMU. I picked Chapman, and I got my TV and film produced and my master's at Chapman. Um, and so our dad is still helping us today. I feel I really do feel that. And I that's when I realized what story does. It connects, it heals, and it inspires. Because the theme in that film about showing up is everything, right? Jesus showed up for us, right? We showed up for our dad. Our dad showed up for us, you know, and you can't regret anything. But because I wanted validation, because I listened to other people, I didn't walk on eggshells. I didn't film him certain times in a hospital. I didn't film him certain times in the house. And I'm telling you right now, there were miracles of sanctification right in front of our eyes, which no one thinks you can see. There were miracles of like God just doing just tangible miracles, which would have been great to show, the public and especially the non-believers. We did get some really good footage, but because I didn't believe it 100%, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. However, I do believe in myself 100% now because God first believed in me. I do believe in my brother 100% because God first believed in him. I believe in you both 100%. So I'm telling you, do what you want with your stories, what you feel God's calling you to do, because that is what brought us to here today. So, and we were actors and stuntmen prior to that, but we weren't storytellers or producers or anyone who could believe we could develop something. And we're here because of God and our dad today.
Amen. Thank you for sharing that. And
Come on.
my father, he passed away last March 1st, of cancer that had spread, and so yeah, just seeing the deterioration and all the different tests and all the different everything that went through, I was like, I I've never seen like I thought I saw strong people before, but seeing all the infusions, all the things that went on, and never once said no. And then it was towards the end where he was just like, let's just let this ride out, uh, and I think that's part of why I'm here
Mhm.
today with the organization. Where right now a small nonprofit, but we have a mighty audience, which looking at numbers externally, it looks not like we do, but it's the feedback that we've gotten, and David continues to just push me, and I continue to try to push him. Like you mentioned, if there's something you want to do, you just got to do it.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for sharing that. Uh, in the most vulnerable of states of human and living and towards the end and at the end. And so yeah, I would echo what Todd, what you said. And that's really how David and I connected. Was he went through a very, I can't even imagine the situation. I can only just listen to what he went through, and to have him step forward has shown me so much courage and strength. And just wanted to say thanks again to both you, Nathan and Todd, and David, and all our viewers and listeners. You've heard me talk about this over and over again, but we're here for a reason. We don't know how long we're going to be here. How many minutes, how many seconds, how many hours. And so let's just spend our time helping people, and not the opposite is the way we go. So thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, David, for facilitating this. We're going to get this turned around ASAP. And we hope and that we give all our prayers and energy to Cudgel, to Sammy, to the both of you, and anyone at any point that it comes on with the project. That this is a very worthwhile project. There's lots of places people can send their money with the holiday season and others, but this is as real as it gets. It's as real as, being a human being, and that's what we are. And I've having not met you until this evening, I can't think of two other individuals that I would want behind and running the show with this project. And so please check out cudgelmovie.com. Do what you can now and consistently. And if everything, even as Todd mentioned, you can text some of your buddies or pals or relatives or colleagues or people that that we get surprised sometimes how those turn into some really good outcomes. So thank you, viewers and listeners. We love you. Have nothing but love and support. Even our enemies that aren't on board with us, that choose different paths. That's all okay. But we love you all the same as humans. And we will see you on a future episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. So thank you all.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Thank you, Mary.